Hello.
Hi. Hey, John.
Hey, Stu. Welcome to Be Well. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jonathan from Your Why, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to have these conversations with various leaders in the community related to living mindfully. As your moderator, I come to you with 30 plus years experience in mindfulness, wellness, and mental health. And being mindful is something that we're going to touch into as our guest today spent the last year mindfully walking about the community. And when I think of being mindful, as I've shared in previous webinars, it's truly being present in the moment with yourself and your surroundings. And so it's going to be a wonderful little journey that we take in a conversation with our guest, Stu Schreiber. Stu, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Stu is a local author, has written several books, and the focus of his current book is what we're going to be talking about. Stu took the last year since the pandemic hit. I was in a meeting a little bit earlier today, and we were acknowledging that a year ago, things shifted dramatically for all of us. And so Stu took that as an opportunity to get out and about in the community and the opportunity to engage in his surroundings and the people that he'd come into contact with in terms of how they were experiencing the pandemic. And so we look forward to what his reflections will be in terms of what this year has provided. Stu, welcome. So tell me, how did you get started on this quote unquote kind of a walkabout?
Jonathan, the gyms started me on this the day they were closed, March 11th. March 11th.
So the gym's closed, and I know you're an active individual, always have been. I can see in the background, you've got a photo of you mountain biking, running, snow out skiing. So the gym's closed. Obviously, that's not going to slow you down. So you just moved in another direction.
My world changed, but I took my gym outside.
And obviously, from what I understand, you live on the coast. So your backyard, your new workout facility was very expansive. And so day one, take me back to the gym's closed, and what was your first day out and about?
My first day showed me that I wasn't going to be alone because it seemed half the gym was out walking that day or running that day. And I proceeded to head towards beautiful Torrey Pines and the trails, the walks uphill, downhill that they have there. And immediately ran into lots and lots of friends, which was very welcoming considering it was a beautiful day. And yeah, that started it.
So I know earlier with the pandemic, there was the whole concept of sheltering in place, so to speak, physical distancing. So, what prompted you to then enter outdoors and use walking as your medium for fitness and exercise?
Well, it used to be running, but there's not much tread on those tires anymore. And I realized that I had the ability to walk at a 5 mile an hour pace for longer distances. And I also realized that one of the things I would always say at the gym worked very effectively outside, and that is good morning. Those two words were not only great to greet friends, but a great way to meet new people.
It's interesting as you share that the good morning. I remember early on in the pandemic, similar to yourself, I like to be out pretty early, get my exercise in. And I remember early on, I think our community was struck with a little bit of their shock. There was a great deal of angst. And so I remember going out early on, and I'm typically like yourself, where it's good morning, how are you? And I noticed that there was a whole range of responses to that. Some people remained open and engaging and welcoming and waving and saying hello. Others actually seem to be more shut down and would often like not even look, have eye contact. It was just for me, it was an interesting dynamic. Um, and so I know fitness is critically important in terms of mental health and wellness. So I appreciate your engagement in terms of being out there, active and engaging people. So share with me, the kind of walking that you did in the community and maybe some of the experiences, people that you touched into.
Yes. Well, I found that I could walk longer distances. Okay. When I say longer distances, I mean 10 to 15 miles without any issues with my feet or my legs, which was critical. And then I also realized something soon after I started walking longer distances, and that was to take the damn earbuds out of my ears. Okay. And that opened up the world to me. I wanted to hear the world, and it cleared my mind of everything. Okay. And that's unlike what most walkers or runners do. They've got their buds in and they're sort of oblivious to what else is going on in the world. But I wanted that connection to people without the buds in my ears. And it worked. It worked. It opened up the world to me.
I remember you touched on that in the sense that I have never exercised with earbuds or headphones or anything like that because I like to hear my breathing. There's a calming, meditative effect to that, as well as I like to kind of hear my foot strike. And I recognize that often when I see people walking and running with earbuds on or headphones, I notice that they hit harder on the ground. But when I come back to our topic in some ways about being mindful, I appreciate what you're saying. By taking the earbuds out, you're open to being present in that particular moment.
And I wanted to hear conversations. I wanted to hear what people were talking about. Okay. I wanted to hear what was going on in their world. And I also would play a game where I learned to set a pace based on who I was following or who was following me. And it opened up not just my world, but it opened up their world to me.
Always the competitor, Stu. So you're always chasing or setting the tone. As you started a few minutes ago, and you told me, 5 miles an hour. That's an impressive pace. I know you're a tall gentleman. Your stride can cover some distance, but to motor along at that, I mean that's impressive for the duration that you're talking about.
Well, I actually have 3 speeds: 5 miles an hour, 5.2. And when I'm really pushing, if someone's really pushing me, I'll get to 5.5 miles an hour. Yes, and then my hair starts to, I have to make sure I have a good hat on for my hair, which brings me to something that I expected you had asked me about, my long hair. What you're looking at, if I turn my head a little, you're looking at pandemic hair. Starting in on March 11th, that was it, no haircuts. So what you're looking at is 3,100 miles, pandemic hair. And I want to give special thanks because she's a good friend of mine, but I want to thank Geraldine for her suggestion that I keep letting my hair grow to protect my back of my neck from getting too much sun. And she also suggested that when I do finish this pandemic walk, I donate my hair to charity. So, Geraldine, thank you.
Well, you definitely have a healthy mane of hair, and that would be quite a gifting when you choose to cut it. So I want to talk a little bit, or have you share a little bit about the book that's been in the works and manifested by your walking. And I believe the working title that you shared with me is "My Journey and Its Search for America." So how did you come up with that theme? And I want you to start the book for us in the sense of that first month as you entered into this experience.
um, I was amazed at the people that I met and saw when I saw what they were doing. Um, and let me give you an example. Um, I labeled people who practiced acts of kindness as heroes. Okay. And these people were doing something to help other people to improve the world, and they wanted no acknowledgement for it. They just did it because it was a good thing to do. And as an example, um, there's a sort of a legend in town named Norm, and Norm picks up trash on the side of 101, a busy highway, but he does it on lower than the street elevation, so no one can ever see him pick up anything. And he picks up trash, and it becomes a cult hero because he always wears the same outfit, a t-shirt and shorts, no matter how cold it is outside. Another example would be Margot. Margot has a dog. She takes her dog for a walk, and she picks up other dog poop near Dog Beach in Del Mar that other people have not picked up. Okay, she picks it up for them. There's also JJ. JJ is a gentleman who has built a beautiful garden and a tribute to dogs that have passed. And he spends 4 or 5 hours a day manicuring that area, and all on his own dime. Takes no money from anybody else, donates his time, and in the true spirit of trying to make the world a better place. So I salute all of those people and all the other people that I saw doing similar things. And it was truly something that really amazed me, that I didn't realize was happening in our world.
So I think I have witnessed Norm. If Norm, I recognize the t-shirt, the shorts, and probably also a straw hat. And as I've been cycling up in North County, I can recognize that individual that you're speaking of. And what I would say, and I think you alluded to this, is that these acts of kindness, these kind actors, have always been present. And so by your taking the earbuds out, walking the community, it allowed you to see things in a different way.
Absolutely. And there's something else that comes to mind for me. And as a heading, I would use "The Beatles Were Right." And when I say that, what I'm talking about is I realized that nothing really warmed my heart more as I was walking than to see two people, regardless of gender, regardless of age, walking while they were holding hands. And I would always make a point to stop and tell those people and thank those people for doing that and sharing their love with the rest of the world. And they would in turn thank me, and I would say, no, I want to thank you. And it was, it just was such a wonderful expression of love that it really struck me.
That's cool. I think about what you're sharing and kind of pausing and seeing things with a curious eye, a fresh eye, and that's something we all could take something from, because we get busy. we're in our head, we've got our own stuff going on, and we're not as mindful or aware of what's going on around us. And so if I was to ask you to be the sociologist or the social psychologist, what kind of guidance you could offer to us to encounter the world around us the way you're speaking of?
Well, one thing I would suggest is the universal language of music. I discovered that the comments I would get from people when I would play music on my phone was always not only appreciated, but something that they would talk about or sing along with me, or look at one of the 50 rock and roll t-shirts that I usually wear. And I realized that music really is the universal language, and it's colorblind. And so I would frequently, no buds, but I would carry my phone and play some songs, and just to see reactions of people, and take advantage of the nature of what music does for people.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying in terms of music being that universal language that goes beyond any outward barriers that we may put in place. I'm curious, so you use good morning, you use music. Any other methods that you use to engage people in terms of as you're out and about?
Yes, and this would be something that's specifically related to the pandemic, and that is wearing a mask. And I've probably gone through 500 masks in the past year, but wearing a mask, it makes it very, very difficult to smile. Except I tried to, I practiced, tried to learn to take the saying, a glint in his eye, okay? And to convey a smile through my eyes and what I would tell with So I found that if I would engage people, compliment them, and smile at them with the mask, that somehow they caught the glint in my eye. Yeah, I would almost always get my two favorite words. Thank you.
What would you say? You shared some of the kind actors, the heroes that you've seen. What may also have surprised you when you're out walking the community each day?
That's an interesting question, because I was always surprised by the way people responded to me. I guess I should mention one thing that I learned early on, and I practiced during 3,100 miles, was no politics. Keep politics out of it, okay? Secondly, respect people. Try to engage people, okay? And I found if I treated people with respect and engaged them and respond, and they would respond to me very favorably, and I could engage them in conversation, what their fears were, what their truths were, what they were worried about in life, and start that dialogue. And it was amazing. It was amazing to experience that from the people that I met along the way on my journey.
Well, it sounds like as you were traveling, so to speak, you're able to get truly intimate glimpses or really capture the essence of different people as you were out and about.
Yes, but interestingly, the public, Americans, really responded well, and it was surprising to see that. But my biggest surprise My biggest surprise was what I learned about myself.
Mm.
And it has changed my life forever and has been the best experience of my entire life. And I hope my journey um, and what I lived through would be something that other people might have the opportunity to do.
And how were you changed, would you say?
Um, I changed because of what I learned about this world that we live in, and that there is a goodness to people. Okay, if you cut away from things and get back to the human part of who people are, that and respect them, that they will open up and they will tell you what their fears are. They will tell you what their hopes are. They will tell you what their concerns are. And it was very enlightening to me, and something that um, I wouldn't change for the world.
So what I wonder, and this is just an interesting thought, is whether your journey during the pandemic allowed you to see this, or whether your lens changed at this time and you were able to see what was always there.
My answer would be yes. Because it is sort of simultaneously. When I started this journey, I had no idea where it would take me. Okay, and I sit here today and know that this journey is going to eventually end when the pandemic is over, and I think we'll all know when that day comes. But um, it was such a rewarding voyage that I went on, and I'm forever grateful. And if this resonates with the American people, as I hope it does, um, I guess I have written a good book.
That's beautiful. So if I was to read this book in years to come, how would I surmise the contribution?
Um, I think it's obviously this past year is going to be always remembered in our history. And I would like to hope that my journey and what I have written can at least be a small part of that.
That's wonderful. Well, Stu, I've enjoyed our conversation today. I look forward to when the book and its contribution are out there. I know we'll have a slide come up in just a moment that has where people can find out and get some of the books that you've written thus far. Truly appreciate what you've offered, your insights from your journey. I wish you well in getting to the completion of your journey.
Jonathon, one more thing for you.
Please. Do you want to share that?
Yes, the hand on the heart and what it means. And then I've also learned a heart-to-heart hug, which I would recommend to everyone. Your heart against someone else's heart, and a big hug. We all need hugs. And I
Yeah.
want to thank you. I want to thank you for this opportunity, Jonathon. I've enjoyed it immensely.
Stu, it's a pleasure. I will look for you out there continuing your journey. And thank you for joining us today. And for those that joined us, please be well until we gather again. Thank you very much.